It is the time for public comment. At each meeting, we offer the ability for public comment that is not on the agenda. Total time for public comment is to be at 15 minutes. If you wish to address the commission under this item, deliver to the airport director before the meeting is convened. Are there any speaker request slips?
I have no speaker requests, Chairman. No.
So there will be no public comments tonight. Reports relating to the agenda items have been available. They've been posted to the website and posted. We are in compliance with the American Disabilities Act. And please, if you have cell phones, turn them off or to silent. As I did mine. We did already call roll, so we don't need to do that at this point. And
Sir.
I believe we do. We are adding Commissioner Gilbert.
Griffin.
Why did I say Gilbert? So, in addition to the attendees, Commissioner Griffin.
Noted.
Notices that the lease sub-review committee meeting scheduled for April 7th was canceled, and also that on April 11th, the Airport Commission Secretary duly posted the agenda on the bulletin board at the administration. Is there a recommendation that we waive the reading of the minutes?
Recommend we waive. Second.
And seconded. All those in favor of waiving the minutes reading?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The consent calendar. Let's see. Do I do that?
Is there any changes?
Any changes?
Are there any changes to the consent calendar? Yeah, that's what I wasn't quite clear on.
No.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval of the consent calendar.
Seconded.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The commission recommends that we approve and authorize to the council.
Thank you.
Liaison reports. We will start with Mr. Hotchkiss.
Chair Martin, I received a call today from Councilman Hotchkiss and also Councilman Roush, both of which were unable to attend tonight.
Sadly so. So there will be no liaison reports
Yes,
this
there
evening.
will. Yeah, there will. Mr. Aceves.
Oh, are you instead?
No.
He's with
It's in the city deleted.
Well, I know, but is that...
Yes.
Please, sir. I'm doing a wonderful job so far, aren't I?
Well,
Liaison report, please.
thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I really don't have a report for you today, but I did want to tell you that at the last meeting you requested the possibility of your website being included on our website as far as a button. And I think we got it accomplished within a day, so it's done. And you're also on the MTD site, so hopefully that will generate some activity for you.
I'm very
Thank you
pleased
so
to hear
much.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Administrative reports.
Yes. Jeff McGee, our maintenance superintendent, will provide the 2010 Integrated Pest Management Annual Report.
Chairman and Commissioners, I'm Jeff McKee, the maintenance superintendent for the airport, and I'm here tonight to give you a report on our 2010 Integrated Pest Management Program. Kind of the outline of what I'll be going over tonight is a little background on the city's Integrated Pest Management Program, airport results for 2010, both our alternative efforts and our pesticide applications, and then a little bit of context of the airport's applications within the citywide report. I'll be focusing primarily, however, on the airport portions of that report that I think you received. I'll be going over the outlook for 2011 and then asking for your recommendation to recommend that council adopt the report as written. The city's integrated pest management program is encouraging citywide for city departments to use least toxic approach to control pests. Pests are, the term pest is kind of broadly applied to both plant and animal pests. The city's program was adopted in January 2004, and there's a Citizens IPM Advisory Committee that works closely with city staff and advises us in implementing the program. We have also a Fair Zone program where the materials that we apply and the areas where we apply them are mapped and categorized as green, yellow, or red. Red is the highest concern chemicals. Yellow is the medium kind of tier of chemicals, and green is the least toxic chemicals. And then we also map the areas. Green areas are where there's most likely to be exposure, human or environmental exposure, up to red where it's least likely for human and environmental exposure. So you'll see red, yellow, and green materials referred to throughout the program. The annual report was prepared by Parks and Recreation Department, Santos Escobar's shop. Ken Brown and Terry Yamada worked a lot on the report. I'd like to thank them. And our Integrated Pest Management Advisory Committee, the Citizens Advisory Committee, is Greg Chittick, Kristen Levanti, Corey Wells, Oscar Carmona, and new to the committee is Christina McGinnis. I'd like to thank them for their work over the year also. 2010 results for the airport. We logged 2,348 alternative effort hours. That's hand weeding, weed eating, trapping gophers without the use of pesticides. In the past, we've logged many more hours. In fact, last year we logged over 14,000 hours. Many of the hours that we logged in the past were associated with our restoration areas, and those are becoming established, so they require less attention. We also increased pesticide applications from 2,261.88 units in 2009 to 2,978.7 units in 2010. We applied 278 pounds of a red material fumitoxin to control rodents on the airfield. And we also had a substantial amount of material used to control mosquitoes in the slough because it was a wet year last year. Alternative efforts, this represents the, as I said, a substantial drop in our alternative effort hours. One other thing that I didn't mention as an alternative effort was a propane torch. Our contractor that does our landscape maintenance used a propane torch on the Hollister Islands to control the weeds there. And it was successful, but it's a time-intensive process. This slide shows the comparative amount of alternative efforts that the airport contributed, which is the maroon bar, versus the amount of alternative efforts citywide. So you can see, because the airport dropped off so precipitously in 2010, the citywide bar also shows that drop. This year, the airport performed 28% of all the alternative efforts reported citywide, and that's down from 70% in 2009. This is the actual pesticide used for the airport. We have three main pests: mosquitoes, rodents, and weeds, and a pretty set group of materials that we use to control those. As I said, this is where we're talking about the green material being Vectobac is granular material we use to control mosquitoes, and Alticid. You can see that we used about 2,300 pounds of those materials to control mosquitoes at the airport in the slough. Rodents, we used Ditrac and Wilco, which is a difascinone based product to control ground squirrels and other rodents on the airfield, and then also fumitoxin for gophers on the airfield. Weeds, we used about the same amount as in prior years of Roundup, Promax, and Surfland. Just to show you by pest, and my graph here is wrong. It capped out at 2,000 pounds in 2010. That bar, the green bar, should extend up to 2,300. So we used virtually just almost exactly double the amount of chemical that we used in the prior year because it was a wet year, and the both products, the ponds existed for longer than the useful life of the product, so we had to reapply to maintain control of the mosquitoes in the slough. And we team with the Mosquito and Vector Control District of Santa Barbara County to do our monitoring and treatment of mosquitoes in the slough. Weeds, chemical weed abatement efforts focused on Hollister Avenue traffic islands in the airfield. Pilots know that the airfield weeds obstruct the visibility of signs and lights on the airfield, so it's important for us to keep those clear. You can see the line for 2010 is about flat. We didn't use any green materials last year. We were finding that that wasn't terribly effective, so we used entirely yellow materials, and we didn't use any dry weed control materials in 2010. Rodents on the airfield are not a problem in themselves, but they attract predators. The predators are a potential strike hazard for aircraft, so that's why it's necessary for us to control. You can see we used a little less red material than last year. That's fumitoxin, and a little more yellow. We're required to get an exemption for red materials, and the IPM Advisory Committee approved an exemption for us to use fumitoxin last year, and we did. You can see the amounts that we used there: 278 pounds of fumitoxin and 204 pounds of difascinone-based rodenticides. So citywide use, this is kind of a comparative chart. Dry chemicals on the left, liquid chemicals on the right. The airport applied 75% of all the dry materials that were applied in the city, and 86% of the liquid materials that were applied. Last year we used 81% of the liquid materials, but 97% of the dry materials. So there were more dry materials used this year in the city elsewhere. Also a stat that I had here, 62% of the material used within the city was used at the airport for control of mosquitoes. So if you eliminated the mosquito, that's a significant contributor to the material that's used. 2011 outlook and challenges. We've had above average rainfall for this winter. We expect high mosquito and weed populations. There's still a lot of standing water out adjacent to the airfield. However, the gopher populations we expect to diminish because of the rainfall. We expect, as last year, 2009, we expect to tent some airport buildings and treat for drywood termites, probably 2 buildings in the coming year. And the Mosquito and Vector Control District has proposed using Natular XRT, which is a kind of a greener material. It's a spinosad-based mosquito control product that's based on a organism that occurs naturally in soil, and they want to try that out in the slough, and we're exploring that with the IPM Advisory Committee to use that for this year. So that's pretty much my report. I'm looking for a recommendation that Airport Commission recommend that City Council accept the City of Santa Barbara Integrated Pest Management Strategy, the 2010 annual report dated February 2011. Any questions?
Just a quick question. When you try a new thing for mosquito control, as you're suggesting, how do you monitor that that works or doesn't work? And then what is the alternative, for instance, if it doesn't?
I think the alternative would be to go back to the current product that we're using. Vector Control does trapping to see what the populations are of mosquitoes, so they're monitoring all the time how many mosquitoes are being produced by the slough. And if they see a spike in the numbers, then they'll go to another product. And this is a product, the new product is a product that they're recommending that's not, it's been used for a year or two, so they have some comfort level that it's going to work as advertised.
Very good. Is there a motion that we recommend?
I'd make a motion, we recommend this.
I'll second it. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Very good.
Thank you. The next administrative report?
Yes, Chair Martin, the T-Hanger lottery comes again. We do that on a quarterly basis, and Ms. Rebecca Fribley will provide the report tonight.
Well, unfortunately, I don't come before you with the cage and all the little balls
That's not
to
acceptable.
do the T-Hanger lottery because in this quarter from January through March, only one complete application was received. So tonight we're asking that Airport Commission approve the addition of Mr. Alexander Young to the Airport T-Hanger waiting list. Mr. Young would be number 5 on the list behind Barry Schulman, Mark Wester, Russell Steiner, and Jim Yapsley.
I'd move that we add him to the list in sequence.
Second. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope sincerely the next time we get to play bingo. The director's report.
The director's report, the stand-in director's report. I did want to mention the passenger count for March was down like 0.3%, but year-to-date we're up 0.7%, which is really important. Under public outreach, you'll notice you probably have on the table, at least I hope you do, the CASA magazine has the terminal on the front page, and there's a really nice article under the editorial in the magazine. It's very nice, I think. Also, to bring to your attention the master plan. I think last time we talked about doing interviews, and we did interviews, and we have recommended Kaufman and Associates as the consulting firm to prepare the master plan for the airport, the new master plan. We'll be meeting with Kaufman next month to begin scoping the contract, and we'll keep Airport Commission updated as we go along. That will be funded, as you know, through an FAA grant, and now that FAA and federal government hopefully has been extended to September, we should be receiving our 2 grants in the near future. Also, airline rates and charges. We have a meeting with the airlines next week on the 27th. Hope to finalize our negotiations with them on their space at the terminal and get their agreements before Airport Commission in May, I would like, but it could be June before that's done. And once again, just a reminder about the grand opening events. The accessibility event on Wednesday, June 15th, is garnering quite a bit of attention, I think, and we are really looking forward to that event with 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And then, of course, the employee celebration event, thanking everybody who's worked through this construction project and design and permitting even before that. And then the gala event on Friday, June 17th at 6 p.m. Tickets are $125. I would like to let Commission know that as of this afternoon, we have raised, I believe it's $27,500 in sponsorships, not counting in-kind sponsorships. So I feel that we will have a nice sum to go to the arts program at the end of the event, keeping in mind that there's no public money being spent on the event. It's all ticket sales and sponsorships. And then, of course, the last but certainly a very important event on Sunday, June 19th, is the public open house. And we're really hoping that we'll have 5,000 to 7,000 people or thereabouts come and participate. I believe that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Just for those that are viewing, the public open house will be free.
Yes, it is a free event. Yes.
And there will be reserved schedule slots to aid in the transportation and the parking.
That's correct, and we will be using Airport Plaza parking, courtesy of Yardi Systems, and we'll have shuttle buses running from the parking area to the terminal and back. So, yes, it is important, and all of these events will be on the city's, the airport's website. I believe the date that's going to go live is May 2nd.
Excellent. And thank you for reminding all of us that there is no public money being spent for this event. I think that's a very key fact.
Thank you.
So, well done. Thank you for the report. Are there any other comments, questions, queries, quandaries, quibbles, or qualms?
No.
Just like to thank you for the tour that we had today. That was very nice.
Excellent. Thank you.
I believe
for
there will
coming.
be an article in the news press tomorrow based on the tour today. For all those who are interested in taking a look at that, there was a reporter on the tour today, so she indicated to me that it was to run tomorrow. That doesn't necessarily mean that it will. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
A second?
Second.
This meeting is now adjourned.